And this is why, you know, in the Goldstone report was repudiated by the House of Representatives by this overwhelming margin, like 336 to 35 or something. Remember, the Goldstone report, which is rock solid evidence of massive war crimes committed by Israel, prima facie evidence during Operation Cast Lead, where they killed 1,400 people. You know, just bombing the hell out of innocent, helpless people in Gaza, trapped. You know.
So if a person searched on Google for the words what was it?
Goldstone.
Goldstone?
Goldstone report, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
For people who don't know much about it, because I don't know a whole lot about it.
Oh, really?
So
well, that was Judge Richard Goldstone. He's Jewish, a very distinguished international Jewish jurist from South Africa. He was appointed by the United Nations to investigate possible war crimes in Operation Cast Lead in 08-09. And they came back with a very thick report. You know, it's like a half-inch thick, and it very specifically identifies and describes, I think, a dozen different categories of war crimes committed by Israel. And they thought that he would be kind of bulletproof from the lobby because he's Jewish, he's distinguished, and so forth. Of course, the lobby just went after him and hammered him. And in South Africa, they tried to block him from even returning to South Africa for his grandson's bar mitzvah.
Wow.
Sure. And he finally recanted in one item. He said, well, one of the things they accused Israel of is deliberately targeting civilians. He said, well, we didn't really have all the evidence then, and maybe we couldn't quite prove that one. Well, he didn't recant the other 11, and didn't even recant that one, really. He just said, well, the evidence is probably inconclusive about that. We can't really prove they delivered. But their own troops have said they did. They said it's Israeli policy, and it has been for a long time. Israel uses specific terrorist strategies to terrorize an entire population, so they will not support any warriors in their midst. They won't even support nonviolent resistance overtly, because they will be the entire population will be deliberately targeted by Israeli missiles, gunships, F-16s, remotely operated drones, tanks, D9 bulldozers that come in to destroy properties. I mean, and most of which is funded by the United States. So we, as U.S. taxpayers, have a distinct responsibility to stand up and demand that our government stop doing this. And the other thing we need to do, since the United States has been so intractable due to the power of the lobby, international civil societies developed the BDS, Boycott, Divestment, and Sanction movement, which is a civil society movement that bypasses the recalcitrant controlled governments. That's why you see all these BDS signs here.
Yeah, one right behind you too.
Yeah,
I'm looking at.
And so if anybody viewing wants to get involved in this, I recommend it highly. The divestment campaign is going strong. It's very powerful. The entire country of Norway has divested from Israeli companies. Go to a website called whoprofits.org that has a list of all the companies that profit from the Israeli occupation. There's another website called bdsmovement.net that explains the BDS movement. A third one is PACBI, the PACBI.org. That's the Palestinian Academic and Cultural Boycott of Israel. And this is hurting them badly too, because Israeli academics are boycotted in England, for example. They're not invited to conferences, because all the Israeli universities profit from the occupation, without exception. They all have contracts with the IDF and so forth. There's no institution in the state of Israel that is innocent. They're all economically profiting from the occupation. They're all involved in it, all the universities and so forth. So one of the PACBI methods is to encourage major name performers not to perform in Israel. A number of them have canceled engagements in Israel. They say we will not grant any appearance of normalcy to an apartheid and occupying state that is violating the human rights of other people. Israeli performers should not be invited here, and our major performers should not be performing there. I wish they'd go to Palestine and perform. You know, I would love to see some great blues performers, go into Ramallah and say, and write some great blues songs for the Palestinians, you know?
Yeah.
and completely bypass Israel. Just walk right through there and say, sorry, we don't perform here. We don't perform for you people. We don't want anything to do with you.
People allowed to kind of go into that country easily, though? I mean, it sounded good what you said, but
it's not easy, but it can be done.
It can be done, yeah.
Global Exchange is an organization that conducts tours there, where you can go into the West Bank. I know a number of people who go to Gaza for do humanitarian work, so it's possible to go. You might have to endure some humiliations at the Ben Gurion airport. I have a Palestinian friend who goes back and is strip searched naked, you know, including women, including children. That's what they do to humiliate people, to encourage them to never go back. Palestinians that go there, American Palestinians with American passports, are treated as Palestinians rather than Americans. They have a special stamp on their passport, and they have to go through all the checkpoints and all this stuff that all the Palestinians have to go through. If you're an American that's not a Palestinian, you can drive right through. So it's a systematic campaign of degradation, humiliation, and sadistic, really sadistic treatment.
It needs to be exposed and stopped.
That's right.
You know,
and it's up to us as American citizens, because we're not going to get the government to do it without that grassroots pressure from below. You know, I'm the national vice chair of the Veterans for Peace working group on Palestine. One of the things we're doing, we're sending out the names of all the representatives who voted against the Goldstone Report, and all the ones who take junkets to Israel, you see, and all the ones who receive large amounts of AIPAC funding, and we're distributing that all over the country, so that our individual members in Veterans for Peace chapters all over the country can start holding people's feet to the fire, the way Joe Walsh does here in Portland. It doesn't take that many. Just a handful of people going out like Joe does with Jay Bybee, the torture judge. He's out there harassing every day. Every day Bybee's in town, you know.
Making it be publicly known.
That's right.
Exposing it. And encouraging and holding them accountable.
Holding their feet to the fire and embarrassing them in public. Every time they step out of their office and have to walk to their car, they're confronted with signs and with people who are saying unfriendly things, you know? And saying unfriendly things to all the passersby.
It needs to be said. It needs to be said.
That's right. So we have no money. We don't have AIPAC's money. We don't have the money of the military-industrial complex. All we have is the truth, and whatever moral energy and fortitude it takes to put the truth out, which is free. We give our time, and that's all we've got.
Well, thanks for giving your time. And you came up from Eugene, right?
Yes.
What's your website?
al-nakba-history.com, and that's N-A-K-B-A, al-Nakba. Al-Nakba means the catastrophe in Arabic, and that is the term that's applied to their ethnic cleansing in 1948 by the Zionist forces. So the Nakba to the Palestinians is like the Holocaust to the Jews. And we want Nakba to be as familiar a word to the American public as the Holocaust.
Okay. I'll put your website on the video.
Okay.
Thanks for being out here.
Right.
Good. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
like the bank that I go to, you know, people, the neighboring banks and businesses are already, we're already starting to get edgy about Mayday. Joe.
I know.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Occupation is a crime! Occupation is a crime! Occupation is a crime! Occupation is a crime! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Occupation is a crime! 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 I would have thought he'd be here.
One of the reasons that we're out here is to tell our politicians that we will not stand for any war on Iran. Hands off Iran. And the American-Iranian Friendship Council, Occupy Portland, Peace and Justice Works, Iraq Affinity Group will be hosting a forum called Iran Forum Myths and Facts. This will be Saturday, May 19th at 1 p.m. at the First Unitarian Church. So definitely encourage everybody to go. And if you don't have a flyer, you can grab one from me